Alright, we just finished checking one of the canals, just for illegal boat fishermen, or not boat fishermen, but illegal boats, shark fishermen. We have all these nooks and crannies to hide from the raiders. Pretty interesting stuff. The sharks sometimes sleep in these little canyons here. That's why the shark fishermen also come in here. As Darwin found, the Galapagos Islands are still home to some of the most unique wildlife found on this planet. On the Galapagos, rangers also breed endangered wildlife. Unfortunately for one, Lonesome George, he's the last of his species. And at 128, when he dies, that's sadly it.
Oh, wow. That would be a good photo.
Not all rangers belong to big organisations. Some, such as Juan Carlos Gambarota from Uruguay, rely on their own resources to get the job done.
But when you work alone, you have to do everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I collected spiders and I sent to Montevideo. I'm also collecting beetles.
Yeah.
And the research about birds, mammal, fish and vertebrates in general is done by me. The Ombu forest here in the park is one of the only 2 Ombu forests known in the world, which 2 of them are in Uruguay. And here we're protecting some threatened birds of the pampas,
Right.
which need tall grass.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and the tall grass is not very easy seen in the pampas because of overgrazing. Sometimes you also have to patrol the fence, you know.
Uh-huh.
To maintain, to keep the cows out from the mark.
If you are looking for heaven today, it will pass by you for thousands of days.
This is the fisherman that I would like to really to control one day.
Yeah.
As I told you, even when I work for the Ministry of Livestock, Agriculture and Fisheries, legally I can't deal with the fishermen.
What's the problem
Something
with...
which I do anyway sometimes. When it's a big problem, I do. This is about the extinction of the species,
Uh-huh.
about the prairie or meadows,
Uh-huh.
birds, mammals, native forest, Antarctica because I spent some time working in Antarctica,
Uh-huh.
and the wetlands and lagoons. They are for children, you know, with paintings.
Uh-huh.
I am the artist.
You do the artwork too? Good.
Yeah,
Well.
I am very proud because when I was a child, I wanted to know about animals and plants in Uruguay, and the only available books were about foreign animals, Europe, mainly Europe. So I'm very, very proud to say that my
Excellent.
books are the first books that Uruguayan children could buy. When you work in a small park like this, you can't do everything you want. So when you write books, you are in many homes.
Mm-hmm.
Children, they read your books, you are with them explaining things.
Like Juan Carlos, many rangers around the world connect people to their environment, especially children, who are the future of the Thin Green Line.
A love that went too soon to its grave.
Little puffs of these spores are going to come out
And
at
if
the
you
top.
step on it, it blows.
And if it steps on it, and if you look really closely, you'll see there's tiny little insects crawling about on the surface. Now these guys will be laying eggs, and the eggs will hatch out. It's going to change colour. And you can see this one. The marshmallow's changed to kind of brown colour. Right?
You're one.
Like poo,
Had burned.
Could never empty me words today.
They're quite cute, these guys, as you're saying, but when we're catching them we have to be really careful. They do give you a nice bite. So if you see a koala in the wild, Don't go and try and pat it. A bit of a scratch. Yeah, definitely trying to get the message through to people of all ages, from kids coming through the park, getting appreciation, right through to neighbours, people living within the community.
Do you see that as a big role for rangers, the education component?
Oh, it's a huge role. It's a really important role. We actually have to market the areas we're trying to protect, get the message through and get support for the programs.
Because sometimes you think it's so hard to change those minds because, well, the environment needs to be taken care of so badly right now, and there's so many things to say and so many things to do, and sometimes you feel a bit depressed of how little you in fact can do. You're only a small stick with a needle, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a very big rock you have to push.
Many protected areas are islands in a sea of agriculture and housing, and animal populations have to be managed. Here in Denmark, they use this management to educate children.
Det her det er leveren, og I kan se, leveren er blevet ramt, så det er derfor, den er sådan gået i stykker. Her der ligner det en almindelig lever. Der ligner det. Så kommer det til sidst, så kommer det ned i maven, her der hedder løbe.
It's a very strong interpretation situation for children to experience because they have to face so many feelings in themselves because it's about, you know, animal that they normally think is very nice. You know, some of them call this one for Bambi. You call that, you know, the Disney one.
Yeah.
You know, and they have to put their Disney World nature look into the real world, and here they see a small Bambi who has been killed. So the debate also starts with I'm a cruel killer that kills Bambis and so on. And it's also about life and death. You know, most of those children have never ever seen a dead person or a dead animal before. So we have a debate also about the ethics about life and death and our right, you know, to take a life. And in fact, we agreed on all of us that it maybe was the best thing to do to hunt down some of the animals out here, because if we didn't do, the population would explode in a few years' time.
You know, I guess it's one of the hardest things is to manage people. One of the most rewarding things is to change attitudes. So if we can make one affect the other, then that's a good thing.
Here in northeast Arnhem Land, Indigenous and non-Indigenous rangers work together in the both ways approach to protect both cultural and environmental values. They install signs to educate people on rock formations that tell the story of visitors to these shores long before Europeans ever found it.
Melko mega yutta orau temuruyum tukka melko model nama nga pergi nama ro kayo ng nama tango tangortima yulta ko bichana ro tayam kanina worktun.
And for me, I think what Timaru and the partnership they have with Parks and Wildlife, who I work for, it's the spirit of cooperation. Like we've got a spirit of conservation, but these guys have also got a very strong spirit of cooperation, working together. It's a privilege to have Dunla as a bupper teaching me things all the time. He's always telling me the language names of things, even though I'm not very good at remembering them. I'm trying. He's taught me how to hunt. He's taught me how to spearfish. He's shown me places, told me stories about places. I couldn't think of a bigger privilege than having that experience, and I can never sort of repay it with the knowledge I have, I feel, because he's got a lot more to offer in that respect.
things that he's done for me as well include coming to my wedding and leading my bride to me, singing traditional Arnhem Land music, and just memories like that you can't buy. They're just something that I really treasure, and I wouldn't have that if Bunala wasn't as generous as he was to invite me to become part of his family and his clan. Just wondering about that burrow. It would be good if you were able to give us a hand this afternoon to get it out of the trap. It's part of a management plan that we have in place around the town areas to try and keep the waterways a little bit safer for people that live in the towns, and also the yolngu that go hunting in those areas sometimes request us to remove them.
This is a small crocodile measuring 2 metres. They can get as large as 5 metres and bigger. The burrow, or crocodile, is a sacred totem to some Yulin clans, the Aboriginal tribe of northeast Arnhem Land. This crocodile will be taken to a nearby crocodile farm, owned and operated by the Yulin. Crocodiles were hunted commercially here from 1945, and by 1971, numbers had plummeted to only 3,000. They were then protected, and now over 70,000 crocodiles are found in the Northern Territory.
Yeah, there it is.
New Ranger Jarwalu is called out to his first snake relocation, and this time it's an agitated King Brown.
Dylan, were you nervous?
No.
No. Man of Steel?
Yep.
And what happened? Tell us what happened for you.
It was striking, but I stayed keep calm.
Yeah. And he had a couple of goes. And what did he do? He went under the washing machine or something?
Yes, went under the washing machine.
Okay, and how did you handle it? What did you do? How did you get him in the bag?
I just put the bag in there and just got the hook and just pulled him in.
Straight in?
Straight in.
Very quick, man.
That's it.
Quicker than a snake.
Another part of the job for rangers in coastal Arnhem Land is to patrol for and remove dangerous ghost nets adrift from fishing boats in the region. These ghost nets trap and kill wildlife. To remove these nets, they must get there over land or by sea. It can be very heavy work. The largest net recorded was 5 tonne, 4 kilometres long and 12 metres deep.
I think probably the most satisfying experience I've had in this area is when we're working with the ghost nets and we come across turtles that are wrapped in nets and they're still alive and possibly been on the beach for a week or something like that, and we come along and cut them out of their nets and watch them swim free back into the water again. That, for me, that summed up conservation and what we're here for, and yeah, it gives you a good feeling in the heart when that sort of thing happens.
Like the rangers of Dimmerud, rangers here in Norway also protect cultural heritage.
And the purpose, the objective with the protection of this area is similar with nature heritage and cultural heritage. So it wouldn't be right if we were only thinking about nature conservation. It's quite as important to think about the cultural heritage, because that's one of the purpose of protection. They are professional bakers. This is an old building where they were baking the bread. Traditional Norwegian flatbrød, it's the name of it. We have in November, we have a winter market here. Every year, all year, every year. A winter market. I had a dream when I was a girl to work out in the forest, actually. I have seen films from Canada, from USA, from other countries to work outside in the forest. But actually, I'm more a mountain person than a forest person. I couldn't live without mountains.
Like most rangers, Rigmor has the dreaded paperwork to do, but it's not long before she's back out there again.
Very special, perhaps, for Norwegian National Park is that they are established also with the purpose to be a place for people to have the possibility to do outdoor life, skiing, trekking, climbing, glacier walking like this.
Sometimes these activities lead to trouble for visitors, and it's up to rangers to rescue them.
Papa 9, Papa 1.
Like here in Canada, where a man has broken his ankle at the top of a mountain.
Hey, I got a hold of Alpine Helicopters down McTighe out of Golden. Figured one way or the other we're going to need to get this person down from there.
Good, I'm just approaching 1 kilo now, so.
Swing into the site, assess the condition of the injured person up there, talk to our pilot and let him know what our plan is. We generally do pretty basic first aid on the mountain, and then try and get them down here where things are all cool before we do anything more.
Someday you will fly. Someday you will fly. Someday you will fly.
How's he doing?
Doing great. Yeah. Broken ankle. Pretty straightforward.
I always thought they were wonderful people, and I'm very, very happy that they do such a great job.
The guide stabilized him a little bit, but he didn't have any squinting material, so we just had to squint him and package him up for the flight out, which we did, and now we're done.
It's that aspect of the job where when you're dealing with a public safety incident where perhaps the lives and welfare of people are at stake, that in retrospect, well, you'll always try and do the right thing, the best thing, that sometimes you're left wondering if you did or not. Just dealt with another fatality. And in my career, that's the 63rd fatality in National Park. The worst one was I was called out and first on scene to one of our beaches where somebody had been swept off a rocky headland during huge seas. I had to tell them that there was no hope of finding their son alive. He just could not have survived that. It wouldn't have been fair to them to have hoped that he may have.
7 of whom were killed, and we had to go up and deal with digging out the bodies and transporting them out of the area. Being in fairly dangerous avalanche terrain as well, but dealing with that number of dead kids, I found really upsetting.
Familia Rica le estaba presente en 4 erupciones. Y una de las erupciones más fuertes y violentas fue la de 1971. Destruyó parte de los andariveles que había en ese tiempo, el andarivel número 6, y transformó el parque en parte por el paisaje, debido a las fuertes aluviones que se desplazaron hacia el lago Yarriga y hacia el lago Calafquén.
When I the first few years I became a warden, my best friend in town here, he got killed in a climbing accident, and I basically watched him pass away. You go through the stages of denial of having a friend that passed away, and you kind of try to go on with your life, and things were a roller coaster for me, and things changed, but things always change for the better in the end, so that's kind of how I end up coping with things.
You know, this family were there having a picnic, and they looked up, and their small, 1.5-year-old baby is gone. You know what happened to it? Did a bear grab it? Did it wander off? Did somebody take it, or whatever was happening? Those sort of things. And when you get there, you know exactly what's happened. Like this child has been playing right against the edge of a very swift-running river, and the parents really weren't watching. And obviously this child got sucked into the current and downstream, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. About 45 minutes later, 2 park wardens in the jet boat actually found this child floating down the river, but of course the child was dead at that time. Very, very, very sad thing, very tough to deal with, and very, very emotional to deal with the parents. Like, it's a real tough thing to do.
That'd be horrific, yeah.
It's not easy.
And we had started a search, and before we knew the suicide part of it, we had people out looking around and doing a hasty search. Next morning we had a helicopter come in, and I think we were maybe an hour and a half into the search, and we had at this point known about the suicide note. The range on the helicopter found him up on top of a place called Great Hill, which isn't too far from here, a couple miles from here. And young man had shot himself in the head and ended his life, and it's unfortunate, he's sitting here looking at a sunset at Acadia and said that's it. And it's hard because you're dealing with family that don't expect that, don't understand why. They want their son back. And
done for the day, but got this call at the Icefield Center regarding a person that fell into a crevasse, and so had to race up there, and I was first on scene, and it turned out that it was a 9-year-old boy that had fallen into a crevasse no wider than 2 feet, and he fell about 10 feet. And we spent at least 4 hours working that crevasse to get him out. And that's probably the single worst experience that I can think of.
It's made me appreciate the fact that that life is random and unpredictable, and there is no, it's not fair and there's no justice, but it is, you know, these wilderness areas and the lives we lead here are incredibly and immensely beautiful, and while they are, take your opportunity to really celebrate it, because there's another side too, but as much as it can take it away, you can really be healed out here as well. So.
For most rangers, there is that difficult side, but the job offers up some stories and experiences that most wouldn't call part of their normal working day.
Well, a couple close calls here and there.
Yeah.
You know, actually my first fire I was burned over on, and we think our main fire sucked up, or our backfire sucked up the main fire, and all of a sudden we had spots across our line, kind of spread out, so we went searching for spot fires, and then there was just too many of them to handle, so we said, well, we've got to get out here now, and the road we were on got burned over on both sides, so we're taking embers, direct flame on our engines.
Wow.
And we decided, you know, we need to get out of here. Was there enough direct flame on engines?
Wow.
And our engine decided we're going to get out because our stuff on top of the engine was starting to burn. Our mud flaps were melting off. Our headlights were bulging out. We put shelters inside, and we went through direct flame for a couple hundred yards to get out.
Jeez.
And the rest of the guys sat inside the fire, and they felt safe and let it cool down. But that's probably the closest.
Fire.
We have patrol.
This is a very public use national park.
So
hundreds and thousands and millions of people.
So the big focus is on people management.
People management in summertime.
Yeah.
Wintertime, poachers.
Poachers.
Yeah.
What do they poach for?
Wood.
Yeah.
On Saturday, you're going to the heart of the park, into another area, on a horse riding fort.
Called
2 days,
3
3 days.
Yeah, beautiful.
Pretty close to the frontier, and nobody goes there.
Oh, wow.
So you're lucky. You're lucky.
And is this a normal job of the park ranger too?
It's a normal job, and sometimes you don't have the chance to do it in high season because it's crowded.
Yeah.
But the season is getting slower.
Yeah.
So that's why the guys invite you to go.
My horse just went half a metre to the right of the other horses and stopped a bit too long and got bogged. Didn't film because we'd be whacking up to this thing. Well done, Javier, well done. Come on.
Back on this horse that was stuck in the mud. Got a gash in my leg. I've been thrown off a couple of times, well not really thrown off, but I jumped off. But it's been a pretty good experience. And this horse goes wherever it wants to go, so. You're meant to be in charge, but I don't think I am. Actually, I know I'm not.
Okay, we are heading west.
Where's our final destination?
Yeah, our final destination, there are a couple of tiny lagoons that are close to the border in between Argentina and Chile.